with 3 Gamer Goggles, and it is my last interview of Origins 2018 on day 4 with these guys. Do you guys know who these guys are? We have Steve Jackson and Phil Reed, and we're going to talk about Ogre. I don't know if you can see this from where you're at, but the Fantasy Trip, that's even closer, that's even better, and Steve's first role-playing game, which was
the Fantasy Trip.
Exactly. And that goes to Kickstarter when?
July 23rd.
23rd. Yes. And it ends on the 24th of August, right?
Something like that.
Something like that?
That is correct.
So who wants to speak first? Because you guys just finished a very successful, in my opinion, Kickstarter on Ogre, and you got cool stuff out of it.
This is the Ogre 6th edition game. This has been out for over a year now. This is everything you need in the one box to play Ogre, but as we all know, people always want more. So coming up later this summer,
I grabbed that box.
Yeah, the Ogre Minis box. This is 295 plastic Ogre Minis in one box. It's a nice heavy box, and inside the box we have the Ogre Battle Box. This is a smaller set that will go into distribution, and this is a lot of minis. It's 80-something out of that 295, so this will be $79.95. It's a complete playable Ogre game with all the plastic in it.
So this replaces that, sort of?
Not in addition to. You can use this with the Ogre 6th edition. So what this has are cardboard stand-up ogres and counters and things like that, and this is plastic minis that you can use with this one. We included the rules.
The poster map in it, right?
Yes. We included the rule book and a second map in here, a poster map. This one's mounted game board. This one's a poster map because this is mostly about the plastic, but it was worth throwing the rules and the map and some dice in here to make it a complete game. So you can do either or you can do both. But
what was the Kickstarter price on the big box, the Too Many Minis box?
On the Ogre Minis rules project we just ran, it was $115.
Oh wow!
For that.
So it was a real good deal.
Very good deal on Kickstarter.
Should have mowed more lawns.
Please come see us the next time we do a Kickstarter. We like to put a lot of minis in the box, and the more support we get, the more we can cram into that box.
That's 50 cents a piece, nearly.
Less, because that's 400 minis.
Oh, I thought you said $2.95 before.
$2.95. Math is hard. It's still fourth day of Origins.
I don't math.
Counting, math, they're the same thing, aren't they?
Pretty much. They've all got numerics and decimation.
And I think you said it, but when did these come to us?
So this is available now.
Yes, that is.
This is going on the boat out of the factory in China on June 25th. So I expect this to be in stores early September, but right now we have pre-orders on Warehouse 23, which is our online store, so if you want, you can pre-order directly from us, or go to your local store, pre-order there, and...
Might it be at Gen Con?
It is highly unlikely this will be at Gen Con. It will take a slight miracle because we want to make sure to ship all the Kickstarter backers first before we start selling. At the very least, there will be copies on display at Gen Con, including copies of the painted minis. This doesn't come with painted minis, but we have some.
But we paint them.
Yes.
And yeah, if you are a Kickstarter backer for this project, you will get yours first.
Excellent. So I guess that leads us into the Fantasy Trip.
Okay, here we are on the Fantasy Trip.
So what exactly is the Fantasy Trip? I kind of pictured it as a cruise. When I got the email and I read the title.
That would work too. We could launch a gaming cruise and call it the Fantasy Trip Cruise. I like that. So Fantasy Trip was my first role-playing game. The beginning part of it, the micro game Melee, came out in 1977, so it's more than 40 years old. And that was followed by a game called Wizard, which was magical combat. And then that was followed by several books for role-playing. But all of those eventually went out of print because the publisher closed its doors. And I figured for a long, long time that that was it for Fantasy Trip. But last year I was able to recover the rights. So I'm plugging away on a new edition that will be kickstarted, and it will include Melee, the combat minigame, and Wizard, the magical combat minigame. It will include a 160-page, we think, book of role-playing rules and advanced wizardry and advanced combat. It will include a 24-page adventure suitable for 4 to 6 characters and a referee, and however many players you want to run 4 to 6 characters. That will have a full-color map. And depending on how many stretch goals are hit, there may be a lot of other things in there as well. So, knock on microphone.
That could be bad, but
that's why I didn't really knock on it.
yes. Wow. So,
Something Steve didn't mention, though, is the original counter artist.
Yes.
Liz Danforth, who handled the work back in the 70s, is creating the new counter art for the game today.
oh wow.
The 2 mini games especially will look very much on the inside like they did 40 years ago. Typos have been corrected and some rules have been streamlined, but they will look very much the same. Now your next question is going to be, what kind of role-playing game is this?
How did you know?
Because that's the logical next question. So this is very much old school role-playing. It's on the light side. This is a suitable beginning game. It's very much angled toward the hack and slash, dungeon crawling kind of adventure, but I want you to role play. The game wants you to role play. We just don't bury you in rules that tell you how to role play. We give you good, simple character creation, and then you play that character and kill monsters and take their stuff.
Beat monsters, take stuff.
It's very complicated.
Depends on who you are.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
Artificers, it could be a complicated task. What should I make in the next 2 minutes?
Combat. So do you have any questions about the Fantasy Trip? The Kickstarter project is July 23rd. You can follow Steve Jackson Games on Kickstarter to get a notification when we launch. If you're at Gen Con, we'll be running demos of Melee at our booth so you can see what the combat system looks like. And you can also follow Steve Jackson Games on Twitter and Facebook because we'll be posting more articles, more information, and Steve and Hunter are going to do like a how to play video. So there's a lot of information coming up before and during the Kickstarter project.
Bebo is already creating a basically a how to play just out of the stuff that she did at the demo games here. And it's simple to create characters, and there's a lot of variety in what you create without getting too complicated and hairy. Combat is fast, combat is very deadly. I tweaked it a little bit in this edition to make it slightly less deadly, but only slightly, because that's one of the features of the game, is if you mess up, you get to be dead, and then your next character may get to loot your body. We'll see.
Oh wait, that's kind of interesting. How does he come back and loot the body?
Well, if you're adventuring down in the dungeon, then the referee should keep track of where the last party died, because...
I don't know anybody who does that.
Oh, well, they should.
They have goodies.
They should, yeah, they have stuff. I mean, the slimes and rats and so on in the dungeon may eat the bodies, but then there'll be... it depends on where they go. If they're on one of the levels that's full of thugs and orcs, then the bodies would be looted. But if they're on the level that's just empty, and I'm not going to even tell you what's below the empty level, but if they're on the empty level, then they'll just become a feature of the dungeon. Oh yeah, keep your notes. It should be an ongoing thing. The Tolankar's Lair adventure is not going to be penetrated in one evening by one party. This is a project.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever played a game that does it like that. Or recommends it.
Okay, well, you're about to.
So what are the prime mechanics? D6, dice-based,
D6,
class token-based?
point-based character creation. You could call it class-based because there's either you're a wizard or you're not, and that's all of the.
Yeah, that's pretty much a class, I guess.
That's all of the classing that there is are you a wizard? Even if you're not a wizard, you can learn spells, but not as well. Uses a 3d6 roll to accomplish most actions, including striking at the enemy. Variable number of dice for damage, all d6. So with 3d6 you can play this game.
I used to make those out of paper. They didn't roll very well, though.
All you need is paper.
Well, just
That's true.
just blow on them.
So there, like traditional games, there's not a lot of stats then, I'm guessing? You're just...
There's 3 stats: strength, dexterity, and intelligence.
Okay, and that's pretty much all you need.
Yeah.
That gets you through everything. All right, I don't really have any more questions. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Good. You're supposed to be
So,
intrigued.
wait,
You're supposed to be intrigued.
we-
Please intrigue.
Did we say the buy-in for the base game, or...
We didn't. It's going to be 60 give or take, maybe $5. And that'll be for the everything package.
And that's the book, and the book.
That's the 2 games. They're 2 separate box games inside a bigger box with a book and map and stretch goals are met. More books because there are some solitaire adventures that Steve wrote that he has the rights to that if we can unlock enough stretch goals will also be included in the box.
So it's roughly about the size of Dungeon Fantasy box set. A little smaller, maybe?
Roughly. Yeah.
Okay.
Not nearly the page count, but Melee and Wizard include maps and counters.
Yeah.
So, but roughly.
All right.
There's going to be a lot of gaming in that box.
All right, cool. So, anything else you guys want to add?
No, if they want to follow along, they can follow.
Thanks for
Facebook.
watching. Thanks for
That's
the
right.
support.
Like, subscribe, share. That was shameless.
And
I did
there
it.
are ongoing discussions on the Steve Jackson Games forums. So if you want to jump in and Steve's asking questions, he's talking about the actual possible tweaks to the game design.
I ask for advice. Sometimes I take it.
So instead of just waiting and backing, you could start today and engage and be a part of the actual development of the game.
And we are posting on our website weekly, if not oftener, little snips, not outtakes from the game, but things to go with the game that won't actually be in the box. So they're all extras. And some of the stretch goals are posting still more of those, but some of them I'm going to do anyway.
All right.
We've got one posted now that uploads, well, we're on Sunday, so it'll upload tomorrow. It's a thing that you don't want to run into the wilderness. Don't want to run in the wilderness. That's better. Word's hard.
The orc. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's always fun, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you.
Okay. Awesome.